All four survivors of the train derailment who made it to Antarctica are outside camping within the Arctic tundra. Steve Hart rubs his hands together and puts his hands nearest the fire. Trenton returns with a bucket full of fish, in which he had just fished from a nearby lake, and prepares the fish and puts the fish onto a grill to be cooked. The Antarctic air was cold and crisp. Troy Harding had just showed up feet away. He showed up in his dressed like an Eskimo, with his black iron-toed boots, which was formerly black, now tan, but toed boots, and walked toward the group. Greg Harding met him halfway. When came out of a tunnel connected to a building. Greg Harding walked up next to Troy Harding, and Troy Harding responded, "It's cold out here, but it's nice. It's nice to be out here, away from metal poles and shit." Greg Harding smirked a laugh. It's no life spawning out of nature. Greg Harding ran ahead of Troy Harding, and Troy Harding ran after Greg Harding. And directly as a result, Steve notices that Troy tackled Greg to the ground, and the two men started the horse fight in the snow, throwing each other down. Troy Harding, who ended up on his back, watched as Greg Harding grabs a piece of snow and shoved it in his face. Steve Hart waited till Clayton wasn't looking, grabbed a piece of snow and threw it into Clayton's face. Clayton responded, "You asshole!" Grabbed some snow and threw it into Steve's face. The four males childishly play in the snow while the fish cooked on the campfire. Of the campfire, as the fish roasted on the campfire itself. The four males continue to childishly play, horse fighting and wrestling in the snow. It was inside the tunnel system. A female, unnoticed to the four men, a female worker was working within a building a couple feet away, a few hundred feet away. The female pushed up the nozzle button, which caused an accelerating system to turn on rapidly within the building of a heating furnace exchange a few feet away from the four men. The four men sat there and horse and wolf played in the snow, unaware of the heavy, dense snow cape that was next to them. The female walked past, noticed the button, and pushed the green button. The green button caused the heat exchange system to wire up. Unaware that that a piece connected to the heat exchange had cracked, and releasing gasoline from within the heat exchange system itself. The female turned toward the heat exchange main furnace area, dipped her head back, pulling it back from behind a wall. She walked down. She noticed. She ignores it and puts her head in front of the wall. She then peeks again and walks down the hall, the exchange heating room on screen, back up base on screen. She notices that the heat exchange system was en route, and it had and with the cliptics of a moon system looking like the planet Saturn swirl in multiple directions as she steps into the main furnace room. She had completely overlooked the exchange within the first heating exchange room, and the gasoline drip, which was splintering into the wall, fell onto the floor and went into the drainage system of the floor. However, the drainage system that was on the floor led into the main Saturn surface system of the crank within the Saturn-like spiraling system in the room the construction worker was working in. The female who didn't notice what was going on, walked to the main door of the building and closed the door shut, and then locked it, unaware that she had just potentially locked herself inside the heat exchange room. The four men in front of the big glacier continued to fight within the snow. Steve Hart, Troy Harding, Greg Harding, and Trenton Clayton continue to fight until they get tired. Trenton balls up one more ball of snow and says, "Hey, you done, boy?" Troy Harding, who is out of breath, stares at Greg Harding. Greg Harding stares at Troy. Steve Hart turns toward the fish and realized that the fish was burning. He ran toward the campfire and took the fish, which was just now turning color automatically to let them know that it was done, off the heat, and put it into the shovel nearby. Back at the exchange main system room, the gasoline has surfaced within the main spiraling control panel. The main control panel bursts and sparks, and then as all of it bursts and sparking, the female stops in her tracks. The female, who was wearing high-heeled shoes, stopped in her tracks and looked directly at the main control panel, suggesting that she had heard something. She walks toward the control panel, and the control panel surges and sparks. She screams and jumps back to the side, and looks directly at the main Saturn-like system going around in rapid multiple circles. The system curves, swerved in multiple directions before it stops, halted, continued going, stopped again, continued halting, and then the whole entire system broke and buckled and burst in various areas around the room, causing a contractible explosion within the construction heat exchange of the second room, killing the construction worker by death from incineration and Cabela they grind, sending various pieces of metal directly into her body, forcing her through the metal wall behind her. The explosion is not noticed by the four males, and the four males continue to horse and wolf fighting. The four males fall directly to the side, in which Greg, Troy, Steve, and Trenton fall to the side next to each other. However, Death had the four men right where it wanted them. The fire within the destroying system converged, was burning, blew up one second at a time into the heat exchange mainframe. Consulted mainframe connected to the ice. The ice cracked on the inside. The four males were laughing. Then noticed the situation at hand. However, Troy put both his elbows on the ground and looked slightly up. Greg, who had his hand on Troy Harding's chest and their laughter, noticed Troy looking at the ice simultaneously. Steve Hart stopped laughing along with Trent and Clayton. The glacier cracked, and as a result of the mainframe within the heat exchange tunnel system, frying and sparking and blowing up, which sent an electrical magnetical current through the glacier itself. But before the four males could get up, it was too late. The glacier that was sitting directly in front of them had a collapsing and devastating aftermath in which the infirmary system of the heat exchange room blew the glacier into the screen, killing all four of them instantly.